Hi, we're talking here today to Spring into Action painters. Thanks so much for signing up and for your willingness to paint. I used to paint and thought I was doing a great job, but it would take me forever to paint straight lines, and I always wondered why. I'd end up with paintbrushes that looked like this, and I couldn't get the edging quite right. We want to use paintbrushes that look like this and keep our lines really neat. There's a big difference between putting paint on the wall and changing a color and doing a great job painting. And so I hope that this Spring in Action you can learn some great tips from my friend Dave and Tony, who are going to share with you. They're professional painters. They're going to share with you just how to have fun painting, to do a good job, to keep your brushes clean, and to make an excellent effort. So you'll be worthy of wearing a hat like this if you pay close attention to this, and we'll do a great job for the district.
Give me that, yeah.
Okay, now, there you go. And
You
want this brush or this
Get
brush?
a good spray gun.
Okay, then.
Hi, I'm Dave. Welcome to Spring into Action. I just want to show you a few tips on rolling the paint on the walls. And the first thing we do is we get a little piece of tape, and the roller, a brand new roller, is full of hairs, lint. So you wrap it around the roller, and then you pull it off, and then you got little fuzzies on the tape, so they don't go on the wall. And then the next thing is, I like working out of a gallon can. And this is my opener, a little pry bar. I'm stuck. Okay. And I like to stir it with a stick instead of shaking it, because I can get to the bottom of the can if there's any solid stuff stuck on the bottom, which there is. Makes it really good this way and then the other way. And then I take the stick out and I wipe it on the roller so it's good and dry. Put the tape over here. And we pour the paint in the tray. Wipe the edge good so it doesn't drip all over the place. And the hardest part with this really is working the roller in to where you got enough paint on it where you can start rolling. A lot of times people have a tendency, when it's not soaked in the roller so much, is the roller will squish out and you'll have no nap to roll with. But we'll let that soak a second, and then I take the brush, and then we'll say this piece of plywood is another wall coming out this way. So what I do is I cut in like Tony did, this way. Wipe off one side, and if you want to, you can have the dry side there and the paint on this side here, so you get a nice clean, crisp cutting. And you can do this all you want, but at the end take a long stroke like this so you don't get all those little brush marks in there. And then hopefully the roller will be broke in enough. You just start with little strokes. And then you go over to the left and then back up again, up and down. And then this, you don't want a big fat edge of paint on here. You wait till the paint's rolled out pretty much, and then you take one big stroke like this all the way down and all the way up. And then you go over to the next section. And you do the same thing. You can start over to the left a little bit and go up to the bare spot, go up and down, till it covers. And if you're stopping in the middle, like you're not going all the way up, then you lay it off, gradually bring it out like this. Gradually bring it out. And the same thing at the bottom. Gradually bring it out. Common mistakes are people, they go like this, like brushing in this piece of wood here, like this, and they just leave it. So you can do that all you want, but when you get done, go like this and smooth it out. And with the roller, too, a lot of times there'll be a big gob of an edge on here. And what you do is get rid of some of the paint on the wall, up and down, and then you don't have so much paint on here. And always get to as close to the wall as you can without touching it. You're touching up a spot that you don't like. If it's you can see through it or something, just get a little bit of paint on the roller, because otherwise you'll have a big glob of paint right here. So if you do, you got to really spread it out, and that'll get rid of the big gob of paint.
Another thing you may want to consider, whether you're rolling, as Dave just showed you, or trimming, as I was showing you earlier. If you're rolling and you're going along your wall and you're working your way down, the paint isn't going to dry perfectly even all the time. It might be a little heavier there, lighter there. One common mistake is going back and looking at your wall and saying, oh, I might have missed, or it looks like I didn't hit there. And then you go ahead and you take that wet roller on a semi-dry surface, and what it can actually do is it can peel paint off, or also very common, you roll back over that, you're going to see a different stroke marks on it, whether it's brush or roller, and it's going to screw it up. So once you've left an area and you're going along, you're keeping your wet edge, and it starts to dry, just let it dry fully, and then go back and look, and if you need to make an adjustment, that would be the time to do it. Whether you're rolling or even, going along, if you finish your piece of trim and you're working on the next one and you go back, if you do see that you missed, don't worry about it. Let it dry and go back and touch it up. That's the right way to do it. Thank you.
Thanks again for the tips. Again, we often think we know how to paint. These little tips will help you to do a great job. We want to leave the painting projects that we do in the school district looking better than they were before we got there, certainly. And we want to have them really neat and clean. So if you have questions along the way, ask. Find one of the guys in either an orange t-shirt, but better yet, find one of the guys that's going to be in a bright blue t-shirt that's going to look similar to this. They're going to be your team leaders. They'll give you tips on those things along the way. One of the things we want to do is learn while we serve, so we can learn humbly from one another, become better at what we do, and do a great job. Thanks again, Tony and Dave.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Now clean up your mess.